Fire Escape Academy inspector training video. Again, every time we walk up to any fire escape, you're always looking for one of two things to write the violation. The first and easiest of them all is deterioration. Has the fire escape been painted? Law requires that all fire escapes be maintained at all times, so that means it must be painted at all times. So this fire escape, as you can see, there hasn't been any paint on this for 15-20 years. So right away alone, this fire escape it's got deterioration on the fire escape. The second thing you look for is whether or not there's been any damage to the fire escape, and whether or not the fire escape is structurally unsound, an unsafe condition. And on this fire escape, we've got a lot of problems. So I believe we're on this is the municipal building there. I believe this is South Pearl, and I believe over there is going to be Harwood, I believe. So this is one of the parking lots. And so let's take a look at the structural. This fire escape got all kinds of structures. It's been hit by trucks. You got a severe damage to the weight bar, to the angle that actually holds the whole weight, the whole cantilever up in the air. It's all bent and smashed. It looks like some major structural smash. So this is a life safety issue. We've got dangling pieces of material. We've got treads that are ready to fall. We've got bent treads that are all bent. I don't know if something heavy came down on it, but all the treads are bent and damaged. That support up there, the support is bent out of position, holding the upper platform to that window that somebody's going to come out. The fire escape is keeling over, and it looks like it's tilting to the right. So this fire escape has some severe truck damage. But this fire escape would be covered under an insurance policy. So the owners a lot of times don't realize that with insurance on this building, this fire escape will be fixed free of charge, 100%, and brought up to code, because it's a hit and run. So a lot of times the owners don't report these things because it was a hit and run, but the insurance company will cover this. This is a major cost associated with refurbishing this entire fire escape and repainting it, and that's all covered under insurance of this particular fire escape. As always, you can always call Fire Escape Engineers at 866-649-0333 for any additional training and additional information. You can visit us online at firescapeengineers.com. Fire Escape Academy inspector training video. This is what happens when you have a fire escape that you don't have access to, but you need one of two things in order to write a violation. You have to look for deterioration, and that means if the fire escape has been painted or not, and that's enough for you to write a violation. Or you're looking for structural issues, anything that's treads falling, supports banged up or something. So just on the structural, just on the deterioration, the fire escape has not been painted. You can see it's a nice white fire escape and it's got nothing but rust all over it. So right away on this particular fire escape, you can just write a violation of deterioration, and during the inspection by the structural engineer, any and all problems with the fire escape will be determined, because a paint inspection will pull out a structural review of what needs to be done. But if this fire escape was painted, a couple things. The chain on the back is an indication that the cantilever is out of balance. It won't come down by itself when released with a release arm. It's missing a release arm. We got some damage on the fire escape at the very top. So with that, the structural needs to be done. You got tears on all the treads. That's an indication that the bolts are being eaten. So that is enough indication to write a structural deficiency on this particular fire escape. We're on Park and Young, and this is just another typical inspection training of a typical fire escape, what to look for, whether you want to write a violation on deterioration or structural review. Fire Escape Academy inspector training video, Dallas, corner of South Harwood and Young. We got a building over here. This fire escape, two things we look for whenever it comes to an inspection to determine whether it needs to be inspected. Must be kept painted, that's deterioration, or it looks for structural issues. Paint looks pretty good on this fire escape, even though it's probably 4 or 5 years old. So we can't, there's no violation on the paint, but let's take a look at some of the structurals. One of the things that you have to be aware of is these weight boxes over the people who are going to be moving as against the law. These things are supposed to be in a cage, so that in case this cable ever gives way, that weight is trapped inside a cage, and it's controlled in case of an emergency, in case it lets go for any reason, and these cables can let go. The other thing too you look for is on these treads. you see rust in between the connection of the bolt. That means that the fire escape, the treads need to be rebolted. If you look at the bolts itself, if you see connection problems with the treads and the bolts are still square, it's an original bolt. These bolts are 50 to 75 years old. So this rust, you can see some rust lines at the tread clip connection. At the joints, you come over here and you look at the joints to see if there's any failure at the joint. These rusty tears coming down the side of a building are an indication that rust is penetrating into the building. And so that must be checked to make sure that there's nothing wrong with that. You got some rust coming down there on that, so that's an indication that some rust is getting and penetrating into this. So on this particular fire escape, even though there is no deterioration, the cantilever means that this fire escape is out of balance. You have to step out almost to the middle of this to activate this and drop it. And once it drops to the ground, it drops not at 2 to 3 feet per second, it'll drop at whatever rate it wants to, and then once somebody gets off at the ground, it'll go right back up. So in order for a fireman to get back up there, he has to pull it down with his pole, and that's not how fire escapes or cantilevers are supposed to drop. They're supposed to drop 2 to 3 feet per second, hit the ground, stay down, single action requiring no special knowledge. So on this fire escape, cantilever's out of balance, and the weight box needs to be controlled in case the cable ever lets go. It's not going to hurt or kill somebody. As always, you can always call Fire Escape Engineers or visit our website fireescapeengineers.com or call us at 866-649-0333 for any seminar CDs, classes, confidence tests, tags for fire escapes, or a fire escape awareness course in and around your area. Thank you. Fire Escape Academy Inspector Training Video. Dallas, Zelm, near the Thanksgiving Tower. What we're looking for in all fire escapes again is there been any maintenance. If you look straight up at this fire escape, it's starting to rust. It looks like it hasn't been painted as required by law. So just on this alone, we can look at write a violation to repair, scrape and paint this fire escape. But sometimes clients paint their fire escapes, and you have to start looking for structural issues for the violation. So as you look around to see if there's been any truck damage, any other kind of damage, is it pulling away from the wall, the treads rusting. The one thing you can see is on the cantilever units. Typical cantilevers, they're supposed to be release mechanisms, and this cantilever unit does have, as you can see, a catch in case there's a failure of the unit. There's a catch over there, but it needs a box around it to better protect it in case that does hit. It's going to be able to bounce out of that. So that cantilever unit does need, because again, that cable can go as high as 30-40 feet. So the fire escape looks like the cantilever is not balanced, does need a release arm in order to release it. And if you look up at the fire escape, you see some connections to the wall, some rust at the treads. So these are all issues that are related to what's called a life safety or a safety concern on the fire escape to write a violation based on structural. Otherwise, the fire escape has not been painted. Quite a bit of rust on the treads itself. But the rest of it, as you can see, mainly the cantilever is part of the unit here that needs to be